I think morning routines are actually starting to get overhyped. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Maybe we should do a coffee tutorial. There's lots of people trying to tell you that you have to get up at 4 a.m. Is that the joke? Is that the thing people say? I think often simpler is better. Yeah. Hello, my name is Paul Miners, and in this video, I'm going to share some of the personal productivity habits and routines that I follow. This video is going to be less tech-focused, like most of my videos, and instead I'm going to share the habits and routines that I follow to stay more organized and generally set myself up to have a productive day. So my morning routine is pretty simple. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I usually snooze once or twice. I'm actually not a fan of getting up super early anymore. I used to do that, and I used to be someone that would wake up at 4:30 and I'd be up and meditating and journaling. I actually think morning routines are starting to get pretty overhyped now. If you are someone who gets up early and does these things, that's fine. Ultimately, you do what works for you. I have just changed my morning routine over the years, and I just have a very simple morning routine. I get up, I come out here and I make breakfast, which is usually just kind of Wheat Bix and muesli with yogurt.
What's Wheat Bix for our American audience?
Wheat Bix it's a wheat biscuit. This is Wheat Bix. They are just wheat biscuits. That's it. So a couple of these with some muesli and yogurt is usually my breakfast. Haley, my wife, loves using the label maker, and if you're not labeling your cereal, what are you doing? So I actually like having a pretty simple morning routine. I just want to get up, shower, have my breakfast, I make a coffee, and then I get to work. Actually, I do meditate first. I'll talk about that in a bit, but I just want to get to work pretty quickly. I don't think you necessarily have to start your day with, lots of journaling and exercising for 90 minutes and doing all these things. I prefer to just kind of get going. And there's a lot of people out there trying to tell you that in order to be successful, you have to be like Tim Cook, who wakes up super early. And I just think that's a myth that needs to be debunked. You do what works for you. It's quite funny. I get a lot of ads on my Instagram feed for companies trying to sell you coffee gadgets, like these, what do you call this? The tamper, the little wire things that you can use to break up the coffee. And it's quite funny because I think if you just use these parts that come with the machine well, you can actually make a perfectly nice coffee. But yeah, everyone's trying to get you to buy these extra gadgets. Don't buy into the hype. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'd be happy if I bought that. Somebody in the comments will tell me I'm wrong. So a couple of the supplements that I take during the day. Every morning when I'm having my breakfast, actually, I'll have a Barocca. This is just a tablet that you dissolve in water. It's just a nice way of getting some water in first thing in the morning, along with a bunch of other vitamins and things. Vitamin B and C and H, folic acid, calcium, just a general multivitamin, which is nice. Lion's mane, this is by a company called Flow State in New Zealand. Lion's mane is a mushroom. And this is not health advice. Editor, let's put something down here. Paul is not a healthcare professional, but there's some really interesting studies being done around how lion's mane can help with brain health and restoring neural pathways. It's kind of advertised as being very good for clarity and focus. People sometimes ask, does it work? It's really hard to know and say that, yes, this has made a measurable difference, but I would say I am someone that has good focus and concentration throughout the day, and I've been taking this for a few years, and I think it's working. I also take vitamin C, good old Costco Kirkland brand. I think just vitamin C is a good vitamin to have, very good, especially coming into winter now for fighting colds. Again, good for brain health as well. Some of these other ones I don't really take every day, but NAC, I first learned about listening to the Andrew Huberman podcast, and he talks about how NAC is very good for fighting colds. It also helps develop antioxidants in your body, which is just very good for general well-being. So there's NAC. Vitamin E, similar to the vitamin C, very good for just general well-being, and it helps, what does this say? It helps against free radicals. So just good general well-being again. And magnesium by I think it's an Australian or New Zealand brand, Clinicians. I usually take a couple before bed, especially if I've done a workout. Magnesium is very good for lowering tightness and tension in your body. I actually have a magnesium cream that you can put onto sore spots. It's just a nice, something good to take before bed to get you ready to sleep as well. And then I also drink these Elite electrolyte sachets during the day. I'll have one during the day regardless of what I'm doing. I think it's just good to get some extra salt and potassium and magnesium into your body. But especially if I'm working out, I will have one. I am someone that has been prone to getting dehydration headaches in the past, and I would drink water. But what I've learned after taking this is that you can be drinking all the water you need, but your body's not getting the full benefit or absorbing it if you don't have enough salt in your body. And this has apparently 10 times more salt than any other electrolyte on the market. Really good local company, actually. So I've been really enjoying taking this. This is the citrus flavor, which is my favorite. So that is my pretty simple morning routine. Wake up, shower, breakfast, make a coffee, and then I will head down to my office to do some meditation. I forgot to mention actually, and I did talk about this a little bit in my home office tour video, which we will link up here. Definitely check that out. But when we built this house, we implemented Control 4 for the home automation. And so we have these programmable switches. We're going to get them engraved pretty soon. And so we have this scene button, which I can click that in the morning, and it sets the lights, nice and low because it's still dark and you don't want them too bright. But what's really cool is that scene button can turn on the lights in my office. So even though this switch is not wired to those lights, it is all connected through a central hub. And so when I get down to my office, my shelving and my down lights are all on. I could even have a playlist playing if I wanted to, but it's just nice kind of walking into the office and it's all ready to go. I talked about this in my home office tour, but this is the chair that I like to sit in to meditate in the morning. I just think it's more appropriate having this nice comfy chair versus sitting at my desk in front of a screen. And I've been meditating on and off now for the best part of 10 years. And until recently, I have been using the Headspace app. Headspace, probably one of the most popular meditation apps on the market. Really great. I was just doing the daily meditation, 10 minutes a day, but there are themed packs or like courses you can do if you want to use meditation to get help with stress or anxiety, money problems. There's even actually some really great courses and videos for kids. And so I actually do still use this with Jay in the evening. Sometimes we'll do a wind down before bed. But this year I actually switched to using a different meditation app called The Way. And I learned about this listening to Tim Ferriss and Kevin Rose on an episode of The Random Show, which they did at the end of last year. An app developed by really cool, really nice voice instructor Henry Schuckman. And what's really nice about this is there's almost zero choice. Where Headspace, there's lots of options, lots of different types of meditation you can do. With The Way, it's basically one path, and you progress along, you do these different retreats and you progress along the way. It's completely guided. There's no deviating from the path. You can't skip ahead. You really are committed to following their guidance and advice. And I've been doing this since the start of the year. It's nice to just do something different now, and I am really enjoying it. And yeah, I've been meditating on and off for about 10 years or so. I have gone through periods, maybe a few weeks or even months at times where I haven't meditated. And you do notice the difference. For me, I find if I can meditate consistently, it helps you to just stay a little bit more level-headed. You become a little less reactive. And I think that really helps if you've got a lot on, or if you're someone that does get a bit stressed and kind of overwhelmed. And that's why I just like to take 10 minutes in the morning. It's something you have to make time for. You can't say, I don't have time for meditation. You make time for meditation. And that way, whatever surprises might come my way, I've hit the reset button and I'm ready to take on whatever the day might throw at me. And Noah agrees. We've always been a really active family, and I'm definitely the kind of person where if I'm not getting some form of exercise, at least a walk, which I often do at lunchtimes, or ideally a workout, including cardio and resistance, I'm going to feel it. I need to be working out at least 3 or 4 times a week. I've talked before about how I view sleep, diet and exercise, those three, as what I call productivity multipliers. So what I mean by that is you can be working and doing everything right in terms of your tools and your apps and your technology, but if you're not getting enough sleep, eating well, staying hydrated, and getting some exercise, I really believe you're not operating as efficiently or as well as you could be. And so for me, exercise is really important. I've been doing CrossFit for probably about 8 or 9 years at this point. John, how do you know if someone does CrossFit? They'll tell you. Somebody's going to say that below, I guarantee it. But no, I actually, the reason I like CrossFit so much and I enjoy it, I used to go to like a normal gym, but CrossFit, when I tried it, really grabbed me because it's really hitting a lot of different muscle groups and types of training in one go. So you're lifting weights, you're throwing a barbell around, or you're doing kettlebell swings. You then might go into some running or rowing. There's squatting, jumping, so you're getting a lot of good mobility exercises in. So it's a great way of just like hitting all the different muscle groups and having a full body workout in like 15 or 20 minutes. And I think that's actually something that appeals to me as well, is it's almost like the productivity of workouts. It's like getting a good workout in 15 to 20 minutes, which, just obviously appeals to me. I've also recently gotten into, in the evenings, doing the sauna for about 20 minutes and cold plunge. The sauna, especially if I've done a workout, is really good for getting blood flow back around your body, very good for muscle recovery, very good for blood pressure and cardiovascular health. Similar with the cold plunge, very good for lowering inflammation and again, good for recovery. I also really just like the mental challenge of the cold plunge. For those 2 minutes that you're sitting in sort of 5 to 10 degree water, it's not fun, it's challenging, and it's sort of helping you with that mind over matter, like developing that mental toughness and discipline at the end of the day. I'm also just someone that, as you can tell, I'm really interested and motivated by anything I can do to look after myself, because if I haven't looked after myself physically and mentally, then I'm not going to be as effective in my business as supporting my team, but also in my family and personal life. It's that whole idea of, in a plane crash, you put on your mask first so that you can help other people. I kind of see it as the same thing. And of course, if you do look after yourself, especially physically, you will have a longer, happier, healthy life. And that's what we're all looking for. So it's kind of one of the only things you can do to literally buy time is to live a healthier life. And that's why I'm just really interested in all these little things, whether it's supplements, exercise, sauna, cold plunge, because on their own, maybe they don't do a lot, but when you add and optimize 1% here and there, I think it really does contribute to much better health and well-being. I sometimes get asked, what do you do if you're feeling really stressed or busy or overwhelmed? And I feel like the advice I have here is not very useful, because my personality type is one where I generally don't let things bother me too much. I don't get easily stressed out. And I actually confirmed this a few years ago. I did a personality test. You could go to 16personalities.com. Definitely really interesting to just learn a bit about yourself and what makes you tick. But I have this personality type where I don't easily let things bother me. I think Stoicism has helped me in this. I've talked about this before. Stoicism, one of the key lessons there is about you only focus on what you can control. So when you bake that into your kind of mindset, if there is something external that you can't control that's having an impact on you, you can quickly start to disregard that. Not that it, obviously things still bother me at times, but if you just bring yourself back to, well, okay, this bad thing happened, what can I do about it? You instantly get closer to finding a solution and moving forwards. This is again why I think meditation is really useful. As I said earlier, you hit that reset button in the morning. I think this really helps you to just be less reactive. So if something bad happens, you don't just respond straight away. You kind of stop, think, breathe, figure out, right, how do I react? How do I respond? Because again, that's what you can control. We can't stop bad things happening, but we can control how we respond to those things happening. And if work gets busy or I feel like there's a lot going on, for me, the thing that I really like to do is just get everything out of my head. So maybe in my personal life, if I'm worried about something, I like to journal in Apple Notes. I don't journal every day. It's really actually more of a tool that I use if I do have a lot on my mind. And if I write down, this is what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling, for me, that gets me 50% towards like finding a solution and again, moving past it. Or in work, if I'm feeling busy or again, there's a lot going on, what helps me is to just organize everything. So whether it's in Pipedrive or Asana, get my tasks organized, plan what I need to do. And if I have a plan in place, I've got everything out of my head, I can see it in front of me, that again gets me towards finding a solution and, okay, I may have a lot going on, but I have a plan for how to tackle everything.
And what do you do in your downtime?
For me, I am a very active relaxer. So at the weekends, I just like to find things to do, just housework, things around the house or the garden. I think because I work on a computer all week, I like just getting out and doing things. And it's funny, Haley will often say like, why don't you just sit down, relax, you know? And for me, I love finding a job or getting stuck into a project or something and just being physical. I don't have a set time that I finish work. I just finish when I'm done. So some days I might work longer, some days I finish earlier. As long as I've, you know, answered my email, inbox is at 0, I've done all my Asana tasks, I've done all my Pipedrive activities and follow-ups, and I've closed all the open loops for the day, I'm done. I don't, you know, find things to do for the sake of work. If I feel like I'm done for the day, I've done everything I wanted to do, and I feel I'm happy with my effort for the day, that's good enough for me.
So is it an 8 o'clock finish? No?
8 o'clock, more like 3 o'clock. I think it's definitely easier now finishing a bit earlier. I used to work a lot later in the afternoons when it was more just me, but now having the team and better processes in place, I can finish a bit earlier. I like being here when Jay's finished school for the day. And then I just have like a pretty typical evening routine. You know, we have dinner as a family, we get the kids bathed and into bed. And then we'll go to bed pretty early actually, usually about 9:30, turning the light off. As I mentioned, I mean, sleep is really important for me, for both of us. I want to get like 7.5 hours of sleep a night. So usually lights out by about 7:30 and that's it for the day. So that is a little bit of a look into my productivity habits and routines. I don't think I'm doing anything particularly unique. I think being productive and organized is the result of doing lots of little things consistently over time. And I think that's what I would just finish on, is by saying a lot of these things I have been doing for a while. And when you do things consistently, they become routine almost because you're on autopilot, and they don't require effort because they are just a normal part of your day. But if you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything you think I should be doing, you know what I'm interested in now, definitely leave me a comment down below. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.